Let us discuss now the factors which affect imbibition. Means how several factors are going to affect the rate of this imbibition process. Okay, so we have already discussed this process of imbibition in quite detail. Now we'll discuss the factors which are going to affect this imbibition process. We have listed 7 factors which are going to affect imbibition: pressure, electrolytes, pH, temperature, texture, affinity and water potential gradient. Let us discuss these factors one by one. Firstly, we have pressure. When you are going to apply pressure, the rate of imbibition will decrease. Means now by increasing the pressure, I am going to put an arrow for increasing the pressure. Okay, the process of imbibition, the rate of imbibition is going to decrease. So this arrow is indicating that by increasing this pressure, the rate of imbibition is going to decrease. Next we move on to electrolytes. Now when we add electrolytes, what is going to happen? We have a solid substance. Okay, so there is obviously it is, I told you, it should be hydrophilic in nature, water loving. There are some charges present on it. What happens when we are going to put this solid into liquid and we add in some electrolytes? Electrolytes are going to actually neutralize the charges present, due to which the rate of imbibition is going to decrease. Okay, so in electrolytes we need to tell that if we add in electrolytes, what is going to happen? This is going to neutralize the charge present on this solid particle, due to which the rate of imbibition is going to decrease, fall down. Next we come on to pH. Now if we have a hydrophilic colloid, okay, and it is negatively charged, a hydrophilic colloid is negatively charged, so it is going to effectively work at alkaline pH. Okay, it is going to effectively work at alkaline pH. But if we have a hydrophilic colloid which is positively charged, if it is positively charged, then it is going to effectively work at acidic pH. So a positively charged hydrocolloid is going to effectively work at acidic pH. So this is how pH influences the rate of imbibition. Next we move on to the temperature. By increasing the temperature, what is going to happen? The rate of imbibition is also going to increase. So increasing the temperature will lead to increase in the rate of this process, that is imbibition. Next we move on to texture. If the hydrocolloid of what we are talking, if we are talking about the solid particle and it is having quite a dense texture. So if the texture is quite dense, the rate of imbibition is going to be slow. But if the texture is not so much dense, then the rate of imbibition is going to be fast. Means the texture also has an influence on the rate of imbibition. The texture of the hydrocolloid of what we are talking over here, the solid particle. Okay, if this texture is quite dense, the rate of imbibition is going to be slow. But if the texture is not so dense, the rate of imbibition is going to be also very fast. Next we move on to the affinity. Okay, I told you that for imbibition to take place, we need to talk about the hydrophilic nature of the colloids. If the colloids are going to be hydrophobic, means water hating, they are definitely by no way are going to absorb the water. But if they are going to be hydrophilic, they are going to absorb water. So the affinity of the colloids is very important. So we need hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means, hydro means water and philic means loving. So we need water loving colloids, as they are going to absorb water, so they should be hydrophilic. And if I have to give an example over here, I would give an example of this agar-agar. I gave this example to you earlier also. This agar-agar is a phycocolloid. Okay, phycocolloid. Now what does this word phycocolloid means? Phycocolloid means this is extracted from seaweeds. Okay, and agar-agar, this phycocolloid is extracted from red seaweeds. It is extracted from red seaweeds. Okay, so this agar-agar has enormous use in microbiology as it is a gelling agent. So when we actually perform the experiments in microbiology, when we are going to isolate bacteria, isolate some other organisms in microbiology, then this is the gelling agent which is used, that is agar-agar. Now how it is acting as a gelling agent? Because it is going to what? It is going to show imbibition, and the rate of imbibition shown by agar-agar is much higher. Why this is going to be higher, I will tell you later. But remember, this agar-agar, which is a phycocolloid extracted from red seaweeds, shows maximum imbibition potential. Okay, so it is going to absorb water to the maximum limit. Then after agar-agar, we can also talk about proteins. Some proteins are also very good solid materials that show higher rate of imbibition. Then after proteins, we can also talk about starch, cellulose. They also show imbibition because of their hydrophilic nature. That's it. Then we talk about water potential gradient, how this water potential gradient is going to help in the imbibition process. As you all know, if there is steep water potential gradient means that I told you earlier also, if we have free water molecules in a beaker, supposingly we have free water molecules in the beaker. Now the water potential of pure water, when there is nothing else, we have not added anything to it, the water potential of pure water is going to be 0. Okay, and if we are going to add in a solute, then this free water molecules will decrease in number, so it will be bounded to some solute molecules. So now we have less free water molecules, right? So this is going to form a water potential gradient. Okay, more steeper the water potential gradient, what is going to happen? The more will be the rate of imbibition. For example, if we have talked about this agar-agar, we have talked about proteins, starch, cellulose, what is going to happen? In this case, let us compare agar-agar with, say, cellulose. This agar-agar has highly negative potential, right? Negative solute potential, and this cellulose has not to that extent of negative solute potential. So what is going to happen? Since in case of agar-agar, it has highly negative solute potential, and if you are going to keep it in water, due to steep concentration, what is going to happen? We have a component that is having highly negative water potential, and we are going to put it in water. Due to steep gradient developing over here is going to lead to the imbibition process at a more faster rate. Okay, but in case of cellulose, it is not that much negative as compared to agar-agar. So it is not going to form that steep potential gradient, right? So this is going to lead to imbibition process at a slower rate. Okay, so water potential gradient, if it is steep, means if the difference is quite high. Okay, we talked about agar-agar, if the difference of this imbibate and imbibant in terms of water potential gradient is quite large, if the difference is quite large, this is going to lead to faster rate of imbibition. But if the difference between this water potential gradient between the imbibant and the imbibate is not much, this is going to lead to slower rate of imbibition. So that is why this agar-agar shows maximum imbibition as compared to proteins, starch, cellulose, means imbibition at a faster rate because of this steep water potential gradient. Steep means there is going to be huge difference between the potential that is set up between agar-agar, and we have talked about if we put it into water, right? So when there is huge difference between water potential gradient of the two components, that is imbibate and the imbibant, this is going to lead to faster rate of imbibition. When the difference is not much, this is going to lead to a slower rate of imbibition. Now after studying these factors, let us recall, we have talked about pressure. When we apply pressure to this process, this is going to lead to a reduction in the rate of imbibition. So increasing pressure means reducing the process of the rate of this process, that is imbibition. Then if we talk about electrolytes, addition of electrolytes is also going to lead to a decrease in the process of imbibition, because this is going to neutralize the charge present on this solid particle. Talk about pH, then the negatively charged hydrocolloids are going to imbibe at a faster rate in alkaline pH, and positively charged hydrocolloids are going to imbibe faster at an acidic pH. So it is different for different types of colloids. Then if you talk about temperature, when you increase the temperature, the rate of imbibition is also going to increase. When you talk about texture, if there is a hydrocolloid which has a very dense texture, this is going to lead to slower rate of imbibition. If the texture is not so dense, then obviously the rate of imbibition is going to be faster. Then if you talk about affinity, hydrophilic colloids should be there, means water loving colloids should be there, so that they can absorb water and show this process, that is imbibition. But if there is no affinity, if they are not hydrophilic, they are hydrophobic, opposite to hydrophilic, they are not going to show this process of imbibition. Okay, then we have water potential gradient. Steeper the water potential gradient means that if the difference between the this potential is large in case of imbibate and imbibent, what is going to happen? This would lead to faster rate of imbibition. But if the difference between the potential water potential is quite less in case of imbibant and imbibate, this is going to lead to slower rate of imbibition. Okay, now I hope now these factors which affect imbibition are very clear to you.